Have you ever woken up feeling like life's on a constant loop? The alarm blares, you scroll your phone, scramble to get ready, and plunge straight into the grind. Deadlines, pressure, expectations. Every morning seems like a faded replica of the last. But it doesn't have to stay that way. There's a philosophy that's helped warriors, emperors, and ordinary people stay grounded through life's chaos: Stoicism. Not just hollow feel-good quotes, but real actionable principles designed to help you control your emotions, sharpen your thinking, and move through the storm with clarity. In this video, you'll be walked through 12 meditations, not just to hear, but to feel. Each one is like a gentle jolt to the brain, a tug out of the fog, and a reminder that there is another way to live. By the end, your mornings won't run on autopilot anymore. They'll begin with purpose, with mental strength, and a level of clarity you might not have experienced before. Don't look away. Number 1. Remember, you could die today. You open your eyes in the morning. Your phone buzzes, a work email, a few social notifications, maybe an unpaid bill. You leap out of bed and launch into the day, barely pausing to notice one simple fact: you're still alive. It sounds ordinary, almost boring, but it's actually the most remarkable thing we constantly overlook. Remember, you could die today. It's not a dark warning. It's a new way to see the world, like snapping a photo during golden hour. The light doesn't last long, so you pay attention. You soak it in. Life is exactly like that, yet we act like there's always a later. Picture this. You're sitting beside someone you love, your mom, your dad, an old friend. You're half listening, scrolling through your phone, tossing out distracted replies. They ask you something. You answer without thinking. But if you knew this was the final time you'd ever be with them, would you behave the same? Every glance, every word would instantly become a memory. Not because anything magical happened, but because you decided it mattered. There's something strange about facing death. It sharpens our vision. A friend of mine once survived a brutal motorcycle accident. As he lay there on the pavement, he didn't think about work, money, or long-term plans. He thought about one thing: how he had snapped at his wife that morning over the wrong kind of coffee. Since then, he never leaves the house without kissing her goodbye. Not out of fear, but because he finally sees what actually matters. Seneca once wrote, "Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life." This isn't about being morbid. It's about being intentional. It means complaining less about the weather. It means texting someone you love even if it feels awkward. It means not shelving a dream just because you think you've got time. Take 30 seconds every morning to ask yourself, if this was my last day, who would I want to see? What would I want to say? What's one thing I never want to repeat again? Write down just one thing, then go do it. Not to become some kind of legend, just so you don't have to regret it when life eventually knocks one last time. And something subtle begins to shift when you live like death is quietly watching. You start noticing everything, even the stuff you once wished away. But the real question is, will you realize what you have before it's gone? Number 2, appreciate what you already have. Each morning you wake up, check your phone, and see someone just returned from Europe. Someone else? They just bought a new car. Another person just got a promotion. And just like that, your day kicks off with a quiet sense of lack. If it's not a lack of sleep, then it's a lack of luck. If it's not money you feel you're missing, it's the life you think you should be living. But have you ever paused to ask yourself, today you opened your eyes. You can still see. You can still text someone. You've got two hands holding that phone. Isn't that already so much more than enough? Gratitude isn't some floaty, abstract idea. It's a real survival skill, especially in a world that constantly tells you you're falling behind. People imagine gratitude means sitting cross-legged, meditating, glowing with peace. But no, gratitude is remembering how miserable you were the night you had a fever and nobody was around. Gratitude is realizing that right now as you're eating, the power's on, the Wi-Fi's working, and your stomach doesn't hurt. You take a bite, look around, and quietly think, yeah, life's really not that bad. Marcus Aurelius once scribbled something in his private journal. One line, often overlooked but powerful enough to stop you in your tracks. Do not set your mind on things you do not possess, as if they were yours. But count the blessings you actually have, and think how much you would want them if they weren't already yours. If you lost everything today, would you still take what you currently have for granted? I once met a man named Daniel, a mechanic, out in the suburbs. By most city standards, his life might seem plain. One afternoon, while changing a tire for a customer, he told me something I'll never forget. I used to dream about being a boss. Then I had an accident, broke my leg, stuck in bed for 3 months. Now all I want is to be able to get up, drive myself to work, sip my coffee, and cuss out the air compressor when it breaks. That's it. That's happiness. Life's actually pretty good so long as you don't forget what it felt like to lose the things you once took for granted. Want to start practicing gratitude? It's easy. Before going to bed, look around your room and pick just one thing you'd truly miss if it disappeared tomorrow. Your AC, your mattress, that soft lamp glow. Then ask yourself, did I live today as if I appreciated that? You don't need to write in a journal, just pause. Reflect for a moment, and if you woke up tomorrow and everything you have now was gone, what would you miss most? Drop a comment. Share something you used to overlook but now recognize as a blessing. And if you ever need a daily reminder that your life is far from ordinary, hit subscribe, because you're not missing anything, you just forgot. Number 3, simplicity is freedom. Have you ever noticed that we often buy something new, not because we truly need it, but because we feel this vague emptiness? As if, without stuffing that space with more things, we might be left to face ourselves. But the more we add, the more we feel something's still missing. The more we cram into our lives, the harder it becomes to see what actually matters. To the Stoics, simplicity isn't about lacking. It's about choosing. Choosing to release the unnecessary so that what's essential has room to breathe. Picture your mind like a desk. Every single day you pile on news, deadlines, social comparisons, non-stop scrolling. By the time the day ends, there's no space left, no clarity. Simplicity isn't just some aesthetic. It's a tactic for survival. A clear desk is easier to focus at. A clear mind is easier to live inside. Sometimes, simplifying is as easy as not replying to that message right away, canceling plans you never wanted to begin with, saying no to extra work just because someone assumes you'll say yes. Someone who lives simply isn't deprived. They're just clear about what brings them peace. They don't chase everything in sight, because they've realized that the more options you collect, the less free you actually feel. Seneca once said, He is a great man who uses earthenware dishes as if they were silver. A wise person treats simple things as valuable, not because they misunderstand worth, but because they don't let their worth be decided by things. Think back to the last time you felt overwhelmed. Was it because you were juggling too much at once? Work, messages, half-finished plans? What would shift if you removed just one of those burdens? What if you stuck to only 3 priorities a day? Here's a quiet truth we rarely say. The people who look like they have it all, sometimes they're the most weighed down. And the ones who own little, but choose each thing with intention, they're often the ones who are truly free. That's why letting go matters. Because if you don't learn to release, you stay scattered, caught in reactions that only look like choices. And in the end, can you really say you're choosing your life if you haven't figured out what's even within your control? Number 4, control what you can. You can't stop the rain just to stay dry. But you can bring a jacket. It sounds obvious, but this is the very heart of Stoic philosophy. Knowing, with clarity, what's within your control and what isn't. And once you understand that, something unexpected happens. The world doesn't knock you off balance the way it used to. One morning I was standing in line at a cafe. The guy ahead of me got frustrated. The card machine glitched. He snapped at the staff, glared at everyone behind him, then stormed. But think about it, the machine breaking, that wasn't his choice, but the anger that was. And every single day we face those same choices. To be angry, to be upset, to let things outside our control consume us. Like when you're online and someone throws a random criticism your way. You can't control what they say, but you can decide whether it ruins your mood. Epictetus once said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." And he was right. Freedom doesn't mean doing whatever you want. It means not being ruled by what you can't. To really get this, listen to Jack's story. He's a single dad, works as a delivery driver. One night, just as his shift was ending, a customer canceled last minute. He lost $200 in an instant. Jack was furious, ready to call and fight about it. But right then his daughter ran up and hugged him. "Daddy, you're home. I've been waiting for you." Jack paused, looked at her, hung up the phone and said, "I'm starving. Let's eat." It's not that he wasn't mad. He just chose what actually deserved his attention. And in doing that, he didn't just shift the evening. He created a memory his daughter will hold forever. If you want to build this mindset, start with one simple habit. The next time you feel frustrated or overwhelmed, ask yourself, is there anything I can truly change here? If the answer's no, don't give up. Just let go. Like setting down a heavy rock you've been carrying for too long. Be like Jack. Choose your response like someone who's in charge of their life. And if this message speaks to you, don't wait for permission to like the video. Do it because you decided to, because that's something you can control. Number 5, don't waste time on others' opinions. It's Monday morning. You've got your favorite shirt on. You step into the elevator feeling good, confident. Then a coworker glances you over and casually says, "That shirt looks kinda weird." One offhand comment, but it sticks. You spend the rest of the morning tugging at your sleeves, checking your reflection, wondering, is this too much? What are people thinking? And just like that, you've handed over the reins of your emotions to someone else. The irony? They probably forgot about it 5 minutes later. Marcus Aurelius once said, "We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." We love ourselves instinctively, yet live by the approval of others. By choice. Strange, right? But deeply human. Way back in primitive times, being cast out from the group could mean death. So even though we're no longer in caves, our brains still fear being judged. But here's the reality. You're not in the Stone Age anymore. No one's kicking you out of the tribe for wearing plaid pants. Here's a visual to hold on to. People's opinions are like the weather. Some days it's clear skies. Other days rain. Occasionally storms. You can't control the weather, but you can grab an umbrella, wear a raincoat, or stay indoors. You don't control the forecast, but your reaction, that's yours. So next time someone says something that stings, try this. Pause for 5 seconds. Don't react instantly. Ask yourself, is this someone living a life I actually admire? If the answer is no, then you know what to do. Let it pass. Keep moving in the direction that matters to you. A friend once told me he'd always dreamed of starting a YouTube channel teaching guitar. But for 2 years, he didn't upload a single video. Afraid people would say he sucked. One day, it hit him. I'm 30 years old, and still scared of a few random comments? He realized he'd wasted 2 years worrying about the opinions of people whose names he didn't even know. His first upload wasn't amazing, but now, he's got nearly 100,000 followers. He didn't become a genius overnight. He just stopped caring if people laughed. There's a line in the Bible that goes, "For am I now seeking the approval of man or of God? Or am I trying to please man?" You don't need to be religious to feel that. What matters isn't how others see you. It's the direction you're walking in, and if not every opinion deserves your attention, do all of them really deserve a reaction? Some shots only hit because we keep raising the shield. But what happens when you stop lifting it altogether? The answer might just surprise you. Number 6, not everything needs a reaction. You're scrolling through social media. You spot an annoying comment under your post. Your fingers itch, ready to fire back with something clever, something sharp, something that puts them in their place. But right there, in that exact moment, if you pause, even briefly, you're practicing one of the most powerful mental disciplines in Stoicism. Not everything needs a reaction. Here's the truth. Most things that happen throughout your day, they don't actually require a response, but we still feel like we have to give one. Someone cuts you off mid-sentence, leaves you on red, swerves recklessly past you in traffic. You feel that sting, disrespected, and your instinct flares. React, strike back. But what if you didn't? Epictetus once said, if someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. When someone gets under your skin, it's not because they're strong, it's because you left the door wide open. Now imagine this, you're like a remote control. Each button triggers something: anger, frustration, insecurity. Sure, people can try pressing them, but only you decide whether anything actually turns on. That's power. That's control. Not reacting isn't weakness. It's proof of mastery over yourself, and science backs this up. When you react emotionally, your amygdala, the brain's alarm system, lights up. But if you pause even briefly, your prefrontal cortex steps in, the rational part, the adult in the room. One slow breath, that can rewrite the entire moment. So the next time someone ticks you off, try counting backward. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Not just to cool down, but to create space. And inside that space, you find choice. You find freedom. Because real freedom isn't doing whatever comes to mind. It's not letting anyone else steer what's within. So react less. Be more present. Live by your own values, not someone else's noise. We're halfway through this journey now. If you're still here, you've already crossed a major threshold in self-awareness, a path many never even notice, let alone walk. Keep going. Each segment stacks on the last, sharpening your mind bit by bit, making it clearer, calmer, and stronger every day. If this part hit home, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone you care about, because we're not just watching some video. We're building mental strength together. We're growing. Number 7. Live in the present. Have you ever sat down for breakfast, but your mind was already racing ahead to that midday meeting, the afternoon deadline, laundry later, a phone call to your mom, and in the end, you don't even remember what you ate? We live like life is just a rough draft. The real version coming later after this task, after things calm down, when there's finally time. But this isn't a draft. This is it. Life, happening now, second by second. Stoicism doesn't tell you not to plan, it tells you don't trade the present for things that haven't happened. The past, it's a baked cake. You can't swap out the ingredients. The future, it's like a scratch-off ticket. You can worry over it, obsess even, but it won't change the outcome. The only thing you actually hold is this moment, right now. What are you going to do with it? I once saw a man, middle-aged, standing at a red light, and unlike everyone around him glued to their screens, he closed his eyes, took a deep breath, shoulders relaxed. Just 30 seconds. But he stood there, like a calm rock in a rushing river. That image stuck with me. How many times have you been at a red light but your mind's spinning like a caged monkey? Marcus Aurelius once wrote something sharp as a blade. A limit of time is fixed for you, which if you do not use for clearing away the clouds from your mind, it will go, and you will go, and it will never return. You don't lack time. You're just pouring it into worries you can't control. If you find yourself always thinking ahead, try this. Each morning before stepping out the door, pick something random in your environment, a broom, a doorknob, a spoon, and ask, "It's fully here. Am I?" Or every few hours set a tiny reminder. Take 3 slow breaths and say silently, "I'm here." It takes almost nothing, but over time you begin to take back your life. And if those quiet in-between moments make you uncomfortable, when there's no task, no rush, no distraction, maybe the problem isn't the silence. Maybe it's that we've forgotten. The real test isn't doing more, it's stopping and not feeling hollow. Because the moment you choose to fully live in the present, that's when you start training your mind to sharpen. That's when even your stumbles become your strength. But the question is, are you ready? Number 8. Treat challenges as mental training. Ever notice how life seems to mess with you most when you're in a rush? You're late to work, your motorbike won't start. Trying to send a report, the Wi-Fi drops. Firing off a quick text, Youâ, send it to the wrong person. It's like the faster you try to move, the more the universe throws roadblocks in your way. But what if, instead of seeing yourself as a victim, you saw yourself as a competitor in the arena? Stoicism doesn't teach us to avoid discomfort. It teaches us that discomfort is the training ground, the forge where mental strength is shaped. A glove that's only known warmth will fall apart in snow. A mind used only to ease will crumble in chaos. You want real strength? Let yourself be interrupted. Let yourself be misunderstood. Let yourself be disappointed. And stay grounded anyway. Take something simple. You're doing the dishes after a long, draining day, and someone says, "Wash them properly this time. There was still grease yesterday." Instant reaction, annoyance, maybe even anger. But what if you paused and saw it as a challenge, a test of patience? Not because you're weak and should just take it, but because you're strong enough not to react. Epictetus once wrote, "The greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it." You don't hear that quoted much. It's too quiet, too real. But that's the point. True growth isn't loud. It happens in the silence no one sees. There's a man named Kevin. He drives a taxi on the night shift in a big city. Drunk passengers, rude ones. Some don't even pay. But Kevin never raises his voice, never complains. Instead, he asks himself one simple question. What is this moment training me for? One time, someone vomited all over his back seat. He drove to the car wash, quiet, focused. Later that night, he said, "I passed a test, and no one even knew." Since then, every ride has become a personal lesson, a workout in calm, a class in composure. What about you? What kind of test are you in right now? Are you still reacting the old way? Or are you starting to rise above, watching from a higher place? If you start seeing each frustration like a mental push-up, you'll realize every day carries meaning. And if daily stress is your gym, then pain, that's your final exam. The only question is, will you face it? Will you grow stronger because of it? Number 9. Pain is temporary, growth is forever. There's something almost everyone hates but no one can escape. The feeling of loss. Not the big, dramatic losses, but the quiet, everyday defeats. Getting turned down for a job you wanted. Sending a message that goes unanswered. Doing the right thing and receiving no recognition. Those moments sting. But the pain itself isn't the issue. The real problem is that we think it will last forever. Remember the last time someone hurt you? That tight knot in your chest, your mind replaying the moment like a broken record. It felt endless, didn't it? And yet, strangely, a few days later, maybe weeks, the pain faded. That's the truth about pain. It shows up uninvited, but it will leave if you don't hold on to it. So what are you still clinging to that you should have let go of yesterday? Epictetus once said, "Difficulties are things that show a person who they are. Hardship doesn't turn you into someone else. It strips away the surface and reveals who you've always been. Every stumble is a chance to meet your raw, unfinished self. And in that moment, you get to choose how to shape it." Here's a simple habit to try. The next time something hurts, don't react right away. Breathe. Then write down, "I feel." It comes from, I choose to respond with. Write it by hand, not on a screen. The act of holding a pen slows your mind, and in that slowness, things become clearer. A man named Alex once shared how he lost a lot of money because he trusted the wrong friend. He felt angry, ashamed, devastated. But instead of running from the pain, he spent a week writing down every financial decision he'd made, every mistake, every blind spot. He turned betrayal into a mirror. 6 months later, he started a small new venture. This time, more careful, more grounded. No one could tell from his voice what he'd been through, but it was there, like a new foundation, poured deeper after the collapse. The question is, will you let your pain be a period or a dash? If you're going through something right now, don't rush it away. Face it, learn from it, walk through it, not fast but steady. And if you're ready to live that way, ready to turn pain into inner strength, drop a comment. Stronger through pain. Let that be the turning point. Number 10. Discipline brings freedom. The alarm rings and you hit snooze. Just a few more minutes. You drag yourself out of bed, rush through your morning routine, skip breakfast, and start scrolling mindlessly through TikTok. Now the question, who's really in charge of your life? You? Or just a series of unconscious habits? It might sound strange, but discipline, often seen as dull or rigid, is actually the foundation of true freedom. We tend to think freedom means doing whatever we want, but here's the catch. If doing whatever we want leads to 3-hour Netflix binges, endless snacking, or procrastination, that's not freedom. That's being trapped by our impulses. Discipline means training your mind to resist every short-term urge. Say you commit to reading. Every day you're tired today, but you open the book and read just 2 pages. That simple act sends a clear message to your brain. I follow through. You wake up 15 minutes earlier to sit in silence, jot down a few thoughts for the day. A small act, but one that grounds your mind before the chaos begins. Here's a powerful line from a man who wasn't a Stoic but had a Stoic mindset. He who cannot obey himself will be commanded. If you can't lead yourself, someone else will. Your boss, the market, your mood, they'll pull you in all directions. I had a friend once, a guy with a high-paying job who always felt stuck. Not because the work was hard, but because his life was on autopilot. He'd sleep in, eat randomly, and spend money just to cope with stress. He didn't lack money, he lacked self-control. But when he started jogging every morning, just 10 minutes at a time, everything changed. From that one habit, he learned how to set goals, push through discomfort, and rebuild his daily structure. The scary part isn't failing. It's not knowing why you're standing still. So what's your challenge today? Set one small boundary. Maybe it's 1 cup of coffee a day. Maybe it's no phone for the first hour after you wake up. As discipline grows, so does your inner voice. The one that calls the shots, not the distractions. The Bible once said, "The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak." So, who will you side with today? One day you'll realize the quiet power of action speaks louder than 1,000 words. The real question is, are you steady enough to be a living reminder to others instead of just sounding wise? Number 11. Be an example, not just a talker. Before you speak today, ask yourself, am I actually living the way I'm about to advise? It's easy to give advice, We can sound wise and insightful when we talk about being kind, patient, or positive. But living those qualities, that's where the real challenge is. It's tempting to become a talker, someone who sounds good but doesn't follow through. We tell others to stay focused but then check our phones nonstop. We urge our kids to read more but we can't remember the last time we picked up a book. We preach self-care, but we're always running on empty. Words can inspire, but actions? They speak louder. I once saw something simple but profound at a coffee shop. A man in his 50s was waiting in line when a schoolgirl behind him dropped her wallet. Without a second thought, he picked it up and handed it back to her. No grand gestures, no attention-seeking moments, just a quiet act of kindness. And I thought to myself, that's the kind of person I want to be. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one." The message is clear. It's not enough to talk about being good, wise, or kind. You have to be it. So how do you become that example? It doesn't take grand gestures. Start small. Wash the dishes without being asked. Apologize first, even if you're sure you're right. Show up on time. Clean up after yourself even when no one will notice. These little actions become the mark of your character. They teach others more than any speech ever could. Take a moment. Who's watching you today? Your kids, your colleagues, your friends? What are they learning from you? Not from your words, but from your actions. If this resonates with you, don't just take this as another reminder. Make it your goal. Be a living example of what you believe in, starting today. It's time to walk the talk. Number 12. Don't wait for perfection. Have you ever noticed that the very thing you keep putting off is often the thing you want most to do? Writing in your journal, starting that workout, learning a new skill, launching your own project. But you keep delaying it because you're not good enough yet, or you don't have enough time, or it's just not perfect. Then, time goes by, and you never take that first step. Funny, isn't it? We'll spend hours choosing the perfect filter for an Instagram post, but won't spare 5 minutes to jot down a startup idea because the writing feels vulnerable, or posting feels too curated. Perfection isn't the goal, it's the excuse. A clever trap set by your ego that convinces you not good enough means don't even try. But here's the truth. Every skill, every breakthrough starts messy. It starts small. It starts repetitive. It starts boring. Great. Guitarists didn't learn by watching others play perfectly. They learned by playing the wrong notes 100 times. Seneca once said, "While we wait for life, life passes." We tell ourselves there's still time, but time doesn't wait, especially not for those stalling in the name of perfection. Have a friend named Thomas. He wanted to teach online but spent 6 months obsessing over which microphone to buy. He got caught up in choosing lighting and backgrounds. When I asked him, "Have you filmed anything yet?" he replied, "I'm waiting for my new background to arrive." But that waiting wasn't about equipment. It was fear, disguised as preparation. Then one day, his phone ran out of space. So he filmed a quick 3-minute video using the front camera, no edits. That video ended up being his most shared video ever. So instead of waiting for perfection, just build a starter habit. Do 2 minutes of something. Type 2 lines. Read 1 paragraph. Run for 5 minutes. Once you start, motivation follows. Or use the 80% rule. If you're 80% ready, begin. The rest? You'll figure it out along the way. This isn't just theory. It's how creators, entrepreneurs, and athletes live. Now think about that thing you've been putting off. Write it down. Start it. Do it badly. Because messy is still real. Messy is still a beginning. Perfection never shows up. It's not a destination. It's the trap that keeps you stuck at the starting line. Perfection is the enemy of action. But action, even the smallest step, is how real change begins. Conclusion. We've just explored 12 powerful Stoic meditations to begin each day with calm, clarity, and purpose. From the reminder that death can come at any moment, to the quiet power of small, consistent progress, each lesson serves as a solid foundation to build inner strength and live intentionally. At their core, they all reinforce a timeless truth that Stoicism never stops repeating. You can't control the world, but you can always control how you face it. So, live simply. Be grateful. Stay steady. Don't chase perfection. Commit to progress. Don't let others control your mind. Choose how you respond. Every morning is an opportunity to reset, train your mind, and live as someone you truly respect. If this video resonated with you, but you haven't hit like yet, please do. It helps spread this message to more people. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Every insight is a part of the journey we're all on together. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect time. There's much more grounded, powerful, and inspiring Stoic content on the way. A new morning can begin with a single right thought, and your life, it can start again today.